am curious about the AI Atlas question. How is that helping with the spiritual evolution on the planet? Anytime there's something big, momentous, monumental in the skies, it gets the humans to look up out of their ordinary 3D lives and look up out into something outside of themselves. Often they consider bigger than themselves. And so when that happens, it allows the human nervous system, the energetic system, the bodily functions, all to kind of have an opportunity to get out of the state that they're in, settle themselves, and then be able to handle the next wave of whatever's coming. Now, we're going to say that differently. Anytime anything happens in the skies and people allow themselves to be distracted by it, they look up, they pay attention, they start wondering and thinking about and Googling and searching about. What it does is it separates them from their previous patterns of thoughts and emotions and behaviors. So once you do a pattern interrupt, you have interrupted your normal patterns. You may start a new pattern, right? That the whole research thing can become a whole new spiral and problem. But the pattern interrupt is the most important thing, because what it does is it allows your systems, your bodily systems, to relax what it was holding and regroup and then be able to focus on something else. So that's the first answer for that. Now, that wasn't specific to 3i Atlas, but just in general. Pattern interrupts are something that the guides recommend if you're in spirals or patterns of disempowerment, patterns of situational, mental, emotional, environmental, physical trauma, drama, stuckedness, feeling lost, insecure, right? Anything that is like a dead end, that anything you can do to pattern interrupt those things that is positive, right? That gets you inspired and curious and interested and out of your nonsense and into something new that has a lighter vibration, right? Stuck is a lower vibration to inspiration or curiosity. So anytime you can move yourself out of stuckedness and into curiosity or interest, that's always going to be a good thing. So I'm asking now more specifically about 3i Atlas. And so what I'm hearing is there is a lot there. There is a lot there. There is a lot there. The searching for a word to explain what they're saying. They're calling it a propulsion, propulsed item. Okay, that propulsed item was a manufactured item inside that is traveling to a destination. The traveling to the destination just happened to come by here and all the places that it's been through as it's been on its journey. So it didn't come to Earth specifically to awaken Earth. However, we're going to talk about in a minute what it is doing to Earth. Okay? Because anytime anything comes into our awareness, into our energy fields, into our experience, they offer us something. And then how we relate to it is the results that we get from that offering. So this was a propulsed item that was created, that was hidden within or made to look like benign object, like a meteor. Which I'm saying is they actually use meteor um, pieces of meteor to kind of build the outside of it, if you will. It's not stuck to it; it's kind of magnetized to it, for lack of a better word. Um, but it is propulsed, and it is going somewhere on purpose. We don't need to know all about that. So now I'm asking, so how is that impacting earth and the beings on the earth? And the specific question was spiritual development, but I'm also asking any other type of development. And so, number one, it made us look up. It made us recenter, recalibrate ourselves, let our bodies kind of catch up, offload. It also brought an energy from another star system. And they're using the word energy because it's a word that we would understand. They said it's not really that, but it's as close enough. It's close enough. It brought an energy with it that is offering us the opportunity to see the bigger pictures. Bigger pictures. And with an S. And it's the bigger pictures of our everyday life, of our communities, of our careers, of our worldly experience. So that knowing that these little squabbles that we have in our families and our communities and our politics, and these big squabbles that we have in our politics and our wars, and these fights are really ignorant. They're completely ignorant, is what they're saying. And they're ignorant because there's the perception that those things matter, that fighting over land matters, when it doesn't. There's nothing about fighting over land that matters. And a lot of the human beings on the planet have already started coming to that conclusion, right? That it matters more about the relationships and the cooperation and the compassion and the unity that you can have to one another. That matters more than the conflict and the division. And you're coming to this tipping point, and the High Council talked last week more about that tipping point, so we won't go into that. But the bigger pictures that people are starting to understand is, wow, if things like Three-Eye Atlas were ships, right? They were propulsed items that had that were created in some form, then that means that there are beings that are more technologically advanced, more aware, more educated, we'll say. And they didn't stop and harm us little peons here. They didn't influence or do anything to us. They just kept traveling on about their business. And the first thing that we feel when we think about that is the nonsense that's happening on the planet really isn't important to off planet beings. They're smarter than that. They get the bigger picture. They understand that all that is just pitiful little nonsense that's childish. And I know I'm using words that feel kind of heavy or negative, but they're clarifying words, meaning that is nonsense. It's nonsense. It's made up nonsense. And hopefully, as the humans on the planet continue to evolve towards unity consciousness, more and more people are going to start understanding that nonsense. When you say something is nonsense and somebody can receive it as that's nonsense, there is no sense in it. That's not blame. You're not blaming someone. You're just saying there's no sense in it. And if somebody can say, oh gosh, you're right, there is no sense in this, it doesn't make any sense that we're doing this, then they can lay down their commitment to fighting and warring and division much easier than if you're still arguing and fighting with them, right? So that revelation to them that there is no sense in this is a less friction, a less friction way of helping people lay down that nonsense so that they can say or see or begin to become aware of what is sense or sensible, which is working together, building community, unity, consciousness, cooperation, all of those things that you're heading towards. And primarily that bigger picture of that unity consciousness and that cooperation and the fact that the earth plane was not interesting enough for the propelled item to stop and even be curious, is really kind of a reset for folks who have kind of put themselves, their country, their politics, whatever, on a pedestal and think that there's something important when, in the scheme of things, all that nonsense, all of it is nonsense, right? No being is better than any other being. We're all holy and sacred. We just forget it. And we do things that are not holy and sacred to each other. So that's all they're going to say about that AI Atlas thing right now.